happened. They didn't expect to see what they saw. And when they saw it, they could never forget it. Ferdinand Hayden was hired to lead a team into the Northwest Territories. And the 32 men headed west. They weren't here to protect Yellowstone. They were here to tear it to shreds in the name of progress. Gold interests, railroad barons, Congress. Powerful people wanted this land for themselves. But something happened during their 3-month journey. And slowly but surely, their mission changed. So as we celebrate the 150th anniversary of Yellowstone National Park, we take a look back in time at the events that led to the preservation of this magical place. Most of the country's thawing out, celebrating the arrival of spring, but not here, man. This is Yellowstone, 8 months a year. You know, the crazy thing is that 98% of the people who come to visit will never see it like this. If you ask me, this is a way to do it. It's perfect. It's just perfect. Ferdinand Hayden tried to survey this area in 1862. Planned it perfectly. You know, he came out in the summer, but then a huge storm in late June made the mountains impassable. Took him 9 more years to make it back here. It's a good thing he did. Yellowstone in the winter is a thing of beauty. On an average year, 150 inches of snow will fall. And at higher elevations, it's often twice that. More than 6 months a year, it looks like this. Even the summer months aren't safe from the occasional snowfall. In one of Yellowstone's most spectacular winter sights, diamond dust floats through the air like a cloud of tiny mirrors. It gets so cold here that water vapor crystallizes. It is both beautiful and cruel. Some will endure its challenges, while others seek out safe havens in lower elevations. Some will burrow in dens and wait out the season. while others thrive in a wild that is turned in their favor. But one thing is certain. In Yellowstone, winter cannot be ignored. The American bison is the largest land mammal in North America. They've lived in Yellowstone continuously since prehistoric times. You ever look at a bison and wonder why they have those massive humps? It's a perfectly evolved adaptation to deal with the snow. Most ungulates forage for grass by breaking up the snow with their hooves. That won't work here in Yellowstone. The snow's too heavy, too deep. So the bison evolved massive neck muscles that power their enormous heads side to side like a snowplow, exposing the grass underneath. The temperature here can get as low as -60 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's good to pack a heavy coat. The bison's is so heavy that their body heat doesn't even melt the snow that collects on their fur. Their skin thickens in winter, and fatty deposits keep them warm from the inside. But even the perfectly adapted bison have to fight to survive every winter. If it snows too much, they can't access the grass they need to fuel their massive bodies. When the Hayden expedition first came to Yellowstone, they took note not only of the largest herd that roamed the valleys, but also the large number of dead bison that fed the park's predators. They're left over after the unrelenting winter culls the herd. The harsh conditions kill 1 out of 10 bison every year. This has become known simply as winter kill. It provides predators in the park with as much as 800,000 pounds of meat each winter. Everyone wants a piece of the action. Because the window of opportunity is small. The next snowstorm is usually just hours away, and anything left uneaten will be buried until spring. Hoping to avoid that fate, these bison endure a long migration to lower elevations, where superheated water beneath the surface melts the snow above. There they will find the grass they need to survive until spring. Every living thing in Yellowstone spends at least half the year battling the harsh conditions. It was something the pioneers on the Hayden expedition wanted to avoid dealing with, making their journey in the summer. But they quickly found out that even the best laid plans can be undone quickly here. And so did I. You know, sometimes I find myself wondering whose brilliant idea was this. Usually when that happens, I'm the culprit. But man, Yellowstone in the snow and cold, it's no country for the faint of heart. I mean, the animals have had millions of years to adapt to the conditions, and even still there's plenty that don't make it. Being here makes me think about George Allen. One of the 2 journals to survive through time was Allen's. He was a geologist and Hayden's mentor. He was one of the older gentlemen on the expedition. And sometime in late July in 1871, another big storm blew through and it buried everything. And Allen was in his tent shivering, kind of the same way as I am right now. And he wrote about how miserable he was. Wasn't sure he'd survive the expedition. He left the next day. That's probably a good decision. Probably a really good decision. Yellowstone National Park is an easy place to visit. But living here, that's anything but easy. Every species that has managed to survive the winters has only done so through adaptation. These river otters are perfectly adapted to the conditions. Thick hair protects warm skin from cold water. That's why their pelts were so sought after by the hunters and trappers who made their way to the Yellowstone region long before Hayden and his men. The otter furs were in high demand by the wealthiest people back east because of the warmth they provided and the luster of the fur. Today, the otters in Yellowstone don't have to worry about trappers. Their battle is keeping themselves fed during the cold winter months. The steady supply of fish in open water can only be counted on in the warmer months. The winter freeze chokes off the river, cutting off the food supply for the mother and her 2 pups. They go from one hole in the ice to another in search of a meal.